Are you tired of putting yourself last? Of taking care of everybody else's needs and powering through to meet the next set of impossible standards? In our fast-paced society, we lose touch with our intrinsic worth, with the ability to value ourselves for who we are right now. Instead of living life exhausted, frustrated, and disconnected from your authentic self, maybe it's time to put yourself back in the life you've worked so hard to create. Join radio host and life choreographer Laura Cheadle and learn how to build your dreams and live your sparkle using the 5 steps of flaunt. Find your fetish, laugh out loud, accept unconditionally, navigate the negative, and trust in your truth.
Welcome to Flaunt, Build Your Dreams and Live Your Sparkle. I'm Laura Cheadle, and as you know, because you listen to my show often, my show is all about building your dreams and living your sparkle. And you know, sometimes there's something that you want and you look for it and it's not there. So your only choice becomes to give up or to build it yourself. Today's guest is one of those phenomenal women who actually built it herself. And I will let her share her story with you. But by way of introduction, our guest is Krystal Covington, and she's a publicist and a business marketing consultant, and she helps companies increase visibility, credibility, and influence. She's got over 10 years in marketing and communications, and she brings with her the extensive experience required to build an integrated marketing and PR strategy that boosts revenue while keeping expenses low. So as you can see, she brings a lot of value to a lot of people. Now here is the part that she built herself. She is the CEO and the founder of Women of Denver. She developed the most diverse and active women's organization in Denver because she was unable to find what she wanted in a women's organization. Now, the Women of Denver have over 40 events a year, and their dynamic network helps women increase their business knowledge, build leadership skills, and connect with other powerful and inspiring women throughout the entire Denver metro area. Krystal has also presented a TEDx talk. She contributes to Forbes, and she's been featured in numerous media outlets such as Fast Company, Entrepreneur on Fire, and Women Taking the Lead. So with that, welcome to my show, Krystal. It's nice to have you.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here. Thanks so much for the invitation.
Oh, no problem. You know, I mentioned this a little bit in my intro, but you really personify building your dreams and living your sparkle. You created the Women of Denver because there wasn't such a group out there and because it was what you wanted. Will you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it was one of the most amazing journeys, I'll tell you, because I had moved to a new city and had my dream job. I already brought my dream husband with me and you know, was living downtown and had a really great life. Everything that should have been all 100% perfect. But the one thing I was missing was that community and network. And, you know, when you go somewhere new, you're kind of lost in everything. You meet people at work, but it's not really the same as taking them outside of the office and really having a deeper connection. And I wanted that experience of knowing that, you know, I'm never sure about jobs. You never know what they're going to do. So you always want to be prepared with a network that can help you should anything go wrong. So that was a part of it too, widening my network outside of the workplace as well, so that people could really connect me in and care about my journey. So I had started going out to different events that were already existing, different networking groups and things like that. They have things here like Network After Work and things like that. And there's a lot of ways that you can meet and network with people, but it just wasn't my style. I really wanted a way where I love professional development. I love having discussions with people and things like that. And just going in, shaking hands with the drink and a couple appetizers just isn't a fit. So I really needed to find something that worked for me. And I didn't see it anywhere. And I'd gone so many places and spent a ton of money. And one day my husband looks at me and he's like, "How much money are you spending on this?" And I said, "I don't know." He's always, that's the way he thinks. He's always, thinking in terms of the expenses. What is the, cost over value and all these things. And I said, "Well, I don't know how much I'm spending." And he said, "If you had to put a number, how much would it be?" And I gave him a number and he said, "Well, why don't you spend that number making it yourself? Aren't you an event planner?" So I've been planning events for years. I have really high level experience planning corporate events and things like that. And he was right. I could do it myself. So I did it. It took a lot of courage. It's really surprising how scary it is just to bring some people together for a discussion and a coffee date. But it was nerve-wracking to me to put a name on it and try to coordinate it and call it a thing. And the journey in creating that really helped me to become a leader, I would say, for the first time, really. And it gave me courage to know that I could do other things. I mean, it was a very amazing journey of creating something from scratch, using my creativity, and then bringing people together and listening to them and learning how to be the type of leader that, listens to what people need and helps them create the environment that they want to.
Right. Networking can be a dirty word for a lot of people because of some of the reasons that you brought up. Standing there with a drink and an appetizer going, "Hi, yeah, hi, what do you do?" And a lot of people dislike networking because of that. And I found it interesting that you talked about deeper conversation and creating opportunities for people to have meaningful conversation, because I think that's something that many people would appreciate. So how do you create a meaningful conversation in a networking type of a setting?
It's really just taking anything that you're discussing. So at this point, we've evolved so much over the years. We have really high-level educational experiences. And for our workshops in the evening, especially because they're 2 hours long, we take the topic and break it into discussion questions so people can have small groups together and talk about those different questions. And it's so funny because you watch the room just bubble with excitement as people are getting to know each other. There's so much noise and energy because they're talking and connecting and they don't want to stop. You have to have somebody encourage me to buy some sort of Tibetan bell or something to get people to stop talking. But it really engages us. When I first started, it was as simple as, bringing a topic, and those topics were never simple. The very first topic we had was about limiting beliefs, which is deep. And I think that's really part of the challenge is when you go to these traditional networking events and you do that, traditional style, you're just going to stay really surface level. So what do you do? Right. Oh, okay. Where are you from? Oh, that's great. You're not going to remember those details. You really don't care, and you don't have a deeper connection until you get past it. And it takes a long time. And sometimes you get interrupted by somebody else that pops up. So when you do things in a discussion format and have a deeper topic, you don't have time. You're not really providing a lot of time for, what do you do and all that kind of stuff. The goal is to talk about these questions. And so your focus is that, which gets you past all that surface stuff from the get-go. So you're talking about your feelings around something or your thoughts around something. And you can't not get to know someone when they're telling you about their perspectives of the world and their personal experiences of things that they've seen, ways that they've developed. And that very first event was, one of the deepest topics that I'd ever talked about. I had just discovered that we had these limiting beliefs and that I was struggling with them. And so I was just dying to talk to people about this. And can you believe, ladies, that we are being held back by stories we developed when we were little kids, that somebody maybe picked on us or somebody said something to us and we internalized it, and now it's stopping us from getting to the next level as adults? How crazy is this?
Right.
And that enthusiasm is infectious, and people got vulnerable. People talk about, true lies that they've been telling themselves, and you walk away feeling like family. So I think that's what really makes the difference, is really getting past that first surface level barrier, so that we can build trust with one another and leave feeling like family.
Right. I like that, because it sounds like you are providing the container. So people can come to one of the events and you've got the container for them, and you provide the information, and then they have the opportunity and get to experience the gift of sharing and learning. And that is very difficult to do, I think, in today's electronic space world as well. Whether it's text or email or social media, we are just spewing out little snippets of information. And what a beautiful gift to provide women the opportunity to deeply connect and share face to face with each other.
Yeah, I do think there's a way to use social media to create that as well. I think people just have still kept that surface level barrier because we're hiding ourselves. I think in person we have more of a safety because we can really see people, we can watch their responses to us, and create truer connection.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, you also said that you were an event planner, but then in creating your own event, there was that level of vulnerability, of fear for you, and you pushed through it anyway. I know there's a lot of listeners in my show who do things for other people or who have these dreams, but they're afraid too. What are some of the steps that you took to burst through those limiting beliefs and that fear?
The easiest thing to say is I just had to do it. I had been going through a long journey of working on myself. And so I started off, I'm off the charts, introvert. It was really hilarious when I first found this out because my husband was off the charts extrovert. And so when we wanted to get married, they made us do a test, a personality assessment. And the counselor sits there and he sees the test and he's tapping his foot waiting for us to finish these tests because he has his own ideas of what's going on. He already placed some judgments. And when he sees my test, he says, aha, I get it now. And the way I heard him talk about me, being, it sounded like he was saying, I don't stand out. I'm not, I don't seem friendly. So I held back tears so deeply. But what I ended up understanding is that, being an introvert just means that my energy gets lower around other people. And then combined with just being, I think I had some social anxiety in there as well. So I can't blame everything on introversion. An introvert can be really social, but so I worked, I had my work cut out for me in looking at myself and realizing, oh my gosh, I don't come off as friendly. I don't stand out around people at all. And I need to change if I'm ever going to succeed in the business world where those kinds of things are praised. And, those are the people that excel, are the ones that people look to as being charismatic. So I had been working on challenging myself little by little. So by the time I got to starting Women of Denver, I was at a point where I was accustomed to throwing myself in situations way outside my comfort zone and then dealing with it.
Right.
And dealing with it meant going to hide in a ball in a room because it takes every bit of me every bit of my